Right, so it seems to be a race amongst former Change UK MPs, it seems, who left Labour to try and bring Jeremy Corbyn down, only bringing themselves down, as it turned out, to rejoin the party now, as we've seen Luciana Berger return to Labour with great fanfare to give the impression they've dealt with anti-Semitism, but also the return of Angela Funny-Tune-Smith to no fanfare at all, to actually reiterate they've done nothing of the sort whatsoever with regards to racism. But now they've readmitted Mike Gapes as well. Now, Gapes is basically known for two things: being a terminal source of absolute drivel on Twitter and making a complete arse of himself on the subject of milk. Something he will forever be associated with, it would seem. If you don't know the story of Milk Gapes, or Milk Gapes, in Parliament in 2017, in a late-night debate, he decided to educate the House of Commons on the subject of how milk from Northern Ireland and milk from the south of Ireland is mixed together with whiskey to make Baileys, an Irish whiskey derivative that I'm sure many of you are rather fond of. This was an argument against Brexit, believe it or not, that risk of a hard border in the island of Ireland, and this was his go-to argument, that manufacture of Baileys would be affected by it. For Mike was an ardent Remainer. The topic of Baileys apparently was his go-to response. It was rather dear to him, it would seem, more so than, for example, the more obvious conclusions of a hard border, such as a return to terrorism and the troubles, it would seem, if a hard border ever returned. It's been a long-standing source of ridicule for him ever since. And yes, the parody Mike Gapes Twitter account, for all the basket case types in politics have a parody account, is indeed called @MilkGapes. It's curious that he flounced out of Labour on the auspices of disagreeing with the Labour compromise position on Brexit, the fence-sitting whilst the Tories destroyed themselves on the subject, for those like Mike wanted to remain, come what may, do or die, yet now rejoins a Labour Party led by Starmer, the poster boy for Remain, when running for leader, who was completely ruled out rejoining, because, let's face it, he goes back on his word on absolutely everything. It's almost as if it had nothing to do with Brexit at all, really, isn't it, Mike? Anyway, aside from his social media horribleness and dairy product obsession, his track record as a parliamentarian is hideous as well. He's another Labour friend of Israel type, as well as a keen supporter of the head-chopping regime in Saudi Arabia. He's another non-Jewish Matthew Hopkins impersonator on the topic of anti-Semitism, and is absolutely comical in his utter hatred of the left, begging the question why he was ever a Labour MP. And indeed, if that's the case, doesn't his rejoining Labour now confirm the war on the left, the purging happening in the party under Starmer, suits him down to the ground, that despite many still playing such things down, it very definitely is absolutely happening. The guy sees trots everywhere. The only thing he seems more obsessed with than cow juice. He didn't join the Lib Dems like some others when the cracks began to show in Change UK. He stuck by them, stood with them, stood for them in his then seat of Ilford South against Labour, and probably lost, getting just a tenth of the vote that the Labour candidate, Sam Tarry, got. Tarry, of course, now deselected under Starmer, having dared to go on a picket line. Not only did Gapes stand against Labour in 2019, though, he joined with other ex-Labour hard-right characters, such as Ivan Lewis, who was suspended from the party in 2017 over sexual harassment claims before quitting the party completely the following year before they were ever resolved, and Ian Austin, who took a peerage from the bloody Tories. And between them, they set up an anti-Corbyn campaign group called Mainstream. Now, Mainstream employed a Tory-run PR company called Public First to run its 2019 election activities. They literally worked with the Tories to do this, and what they were doing was campaigning to bring Jeremy Corbyn down. Largely consisted of standing in front of big billboards and shouting, "Down with this sort of thing," whilst pointing at pictures of Corbyn and the evils of renationalising stuff and making the rich pay more, those awful socialist concepts. Mainstream ended up spending more than £130,000 in anti-Corbyn campaigning during the 2019 general election. And that election, of course, delivered that Boris Johnson whacking great majority and his oven-ready awful Brexit balls up. And in part, however small a part that may have been, that was due to the work of a man who left Labour apparently to fight any form of Brexit, fearing for the future of Irish milk-based products, and did so by literally working with the Tory PR team at that. But really, he did all this based on the evidence purely because the Labour membership had dared elect a left-wing leader, and he flat refused to ever accept that, making it his mission to undermine that, prepared to go to whatever lengths necessary it would seem to do so. And now he's back. So what does that say of Labour now? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the vid, please do hit like and subscribe, leave a comment and hit the notification bell too so you don't miss the next one. Also look out for me on social media and other interesting stuff by clicking on the Linktree link in the comments below. And I will see you next time. Cheers, folks.